Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Today we're looking at perhaps one of the finest AR-15 rifles ever designed. The Knight's SR15, certainly in my opinion, is within the top couple, 1, 2, or 3. It's definitely up there. We're going to be doing a video coming up comparing this to the LMT Mars. But I have to say that of all the ones that are out there, for as far as advanced features, advanced refinements, I think the SR15 is certainly up in the top. Now, you go back to 1993, 94, at the time when the SR25 was introduced. The SR15 was introduced as well. Now, the SR25, I certainly believe, is the flagship of Knight's Armament, because the SR25 was the truly new design. If you go back to the original SR15 match rifles, they were really a basic AR-15 with a extremely match-grade barrel and a nice two-stage trigger in it. Since the introduction of the SR15, there's been several iterations. Again, we look at the original one. We're looking at a match-grade barrel. I believe they had a match-grade 22-inch barrel on there, too. They also had a shorter match-grade barrel. But one of the things that they had on there that I really liked, that I'm sort of disappointed they don't do anymore, was they had a chrome-plated bolt carrier. When they introduced the SR25, they kept with Gene Stoner's chrome-plated bolt carrier. The original SR15s, at some point, they got rid of it, which was sort of a shame because I thought that was really a cool trademark of Knight's Armament, was the original chrome-plated bolt carriers. But the rifles have gone on, and they've evolved with the times. The original rifles, when they came out, they had the fiberglass type free-floating handguards, and of course now we're into the M-LOK, and we're into the aluminum free-floating handguards and much more updated handguards and different stocks and so forth. But as the evolution goes, right now what we have here is the peak right now. And it has several parts that are very, very upgraded from the original M16 AR-15. And many of these parts on here are also proprietary. For instance, so we're going to be going over the gas system on here. That's proprietary to Knight's. So is the barrel extension. So is the bolt. It's the only probably negative aspect to this rifle is that there's so much proprietary, so you don't have as many abilities to take any of these advancements and put them on your own type build. You need to buy this rifle to be able to have some of those. But when you look at the rifle as a whole, it's a drastic improvement over pretty much anything out there. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start off with going from the rear to the front and going over all the different aspects of the rifle. So looking at the stock assembly on here, we have an LMT SOT mod stock and receiver extension. You have 6 positions on here. You have a proprietary receiver extension nut and receiver extension, which has 2 QD points located on the right and left-hand side. Starting with the lower receiver, the Knight's Armament SR15 SR25 series was perhaps the first truly ambidextrous lower receivers on the market. And we will talk about that right now. We're going to go over the different aspects of what makes us fully ambidextrous. So first off, we have a standard A2 pistol grip. We have a forging 775 T6 aircraft aluminum. Now, if you notice, you have a ambidextrous safety, and you also notice how this has been ground down to the side here, so when you have it down and you're right-handed, your finger fits right alongside of it rather than it sticking into your hand. You have the standard magazine release, but if you also look here, we have a bolt release. Now, this is not a bolt catch. This is a bolt release. So we're going to go over that right now. So bolt locks open in the last shot. By pressing inward, you have a bolt release. If you choose to lock the bolt open without a magazine, you have to press in the left side lower portion to lock the bolt open. So that's the only thing that sort of separates this from, say, like the Mars or the LWRC is their right side is a bolt release as well as a bolt catch. This is just a bolt release. Does it make much of a difference? I don't really think so, because most of the time when you're going to use that, the bolt's going to lock open on the last shot. So is this really relevant that it's not a catch? I really don't think so, because if I'm going to use it, I'm going to be using it to drop the slide on a loaded magazine. It's from lockback. Very, very high quality aluminum. Now we go to the other side. So we have the ambidextrous magazine release, and we have the standard safety and the bolt catch in the standard location. It does hinge down like a standard AR-15 M16 as well, in case you have much larger gloved hands. And we'll go over the inside of it in a few minutes. Now we're going to take a look at the upper receiver. We have a standard mil-spec type upper receiver here, 775 T6 aircraft aluminum. We have 4 bolt assist, and we have the fire cartridge case deflector, ejection port, dust cover. Now we're going to start getting into some of the really fine aspects of this rifle. What we have here is a 15-inch URX4 free-floating handguard. Now, this is probably the most updated version of the URX because it does not utilize a standard barrel nut. This is basically part of the handguard itself. You'll see we have the modern M-LOK as well. They've gone from 1913 rails to removable rail sections, and now we have the M-LOK, which is an excellent enhancement. And you see we have the Magpul Gen 2 M-LOK rail panels on the sides here as well, which I'm quite fond of. I have these on several of my rifles. But you can get standard M-LOK panels to put them anywhere you see on here, even up on the angles on the top here. So you basically have 7 different angles where you can place any kind of a rail panel that's on there. If you look at the front sights here, you have the very low profile folding backup sights. Locks in position. Now what's very nice about this sight here is you don't have to use a bullet tip or a tool to adjust. You have a dial that's located right here where you can adjust up and down. If you look at the rear, we have a fully adjustable backup sight that has 1 aperture and it has elevation as well as windage adjustment. And you have no tools as well on the dial here for the windage and the dial on top of here for adjustment. What we have here is a 16-inch cold hammer forged barrel, which is chrome plated. It gives you about 2 to 3 times the barrel life of the standard steel. So you have a much more durable barrel for long-term and anti-corrosion and so forth. They've been known for quite some time to manufacture some very high-quality barrels, regardless of the fact that they do chrome line them as well. You're sort of getting the best of both worlds from having a match-grade barrel as well as having the durability of a very good chrome plating on it. The rifle comes with a proprietary Knights flash suppressor. As you see here, we have 3-prong. Now, the neat thing about this 3-prong suppressor is the fact you don't get that tuning fork sound that you get with most 3-prong suppressors, which is certainly a benefit because that can get rather annoying. And you can see the post on here. This is mounted with peel washers to get it properly timed. It's compatible with a QDC sound suppressors manufactured by Knights Armament, so they're promoting the use of their own sound suppressors as well. Now is one of the things that is really unique about this rifle, and is the gas system. Now, this is an internal piston gas system, but it has some heavily modified components to it. And it is proprietary to Knights. It's not offered that I know of as a upgrade, but it is something else to make this rifle that much more ahead of the game. So first off, this is not your traditional length system. This is not mid-length. It's not carbine. It's sort of in the middle between the mid-length and full length. So it's slightly longer than a mid-length. And that was done to increase reliability and to lessen recoil. It's certainly a benefit. As you know, I'm a big fan of the mid-length gas system, so this goes just a little bit further. That's something nice to spend a lot of time on and doing development on to see where they can get the best balance between reliability of extraction and softer recoil. So that's one aspect of the gas system. The next part of the gas system is rather unique, is you have a straight gas tube. The only other company I know that uses straight gas tubes is LMT on their MRP system. It makes for a more durable gas tube due to the fact you don't have the bends in there where they can collect heat, which can cause some issues of strength. You don't have that issue with these. Second of all is the way that it mounts to the proprietary gas block. Instead of just sliding into a hole in the gas block and pinning it in place, the end of the gas tube has a flare to it, you're going to see from the pictures, so it's like a bell. And behind that, you have a lock nut. The gas tube slides onto a small spigot type on the front sight base. And then with the nut, you tighten it up. So basically what you're getting is a full seal 360 degrees. There's no way for any gas to leak out of the sides. On a regular gas tube, you can get gas that leaks out between the gas tube and the front sight base until you get basically a carbon seal there, which fully seals it off. But this here, you have no possibilities for any kind of a gas loss on it, which is also very unique. The last part that's very unique is the way that it's installed. It's not drilled, it's not pinned. What you have is basically a miniaturized receiver extension nut that slides over and it locks in place. So you torque it down in place. That's what holds it where it is now. Benefits of that for disassembly, for if you need to remove the gas tube for any reason, or to replace, or cleaning or maintenance or whatever, this is very easily removed. It doesn't require any modifications to the barrel, such as drill and pin. Also, when you have drilling and pinning, when you do that, it is not designed to remove the front sight base. That's designed to stay there. Anytime you would remove that front sight base and put it back on, say to put on a different barrel or whatever you had to do, you will eventually waller out those holes. You have issues with the taper pins starting to walk out because it's been removed and it's not fitting as tight as it was. This totally eliminates that. So this is an excellent aspect of this system. Now we're going to take a look at some of the more internal components. Taking a look at the lower receiver, we can see Knight's proprietary two-stage trigger. Now they probably were one of the first to manufacture a high-quality two-stage trigger. It's very crisp and very clean. You have a close-up of the bolt mechanism, the bolt catch. As you can see, bolt catch from here to engage, top to release, or push here to release. You have a nice proprietary buffer in here as well. Now looking at the charging handle, we'll see we have a tactical latch on here, which makes it much easier to grasp than a standard mil spec. Perhaps of everything that's done on this rifle, the most significant reliability enhancement is what they call the E3 enhanced bolt. Now this has been available for quite some time. There's a lot of similarities to the LMT enhanced bolt. Now they came out around the same time, both the Knights and the LMT. They're different as though they're similar. Now, first off, we start off with the bolt carrier. The bolt carrier on here is a standard mil-spec bolt carrier. All the changes are included within the cam pin and the bolt. Assembles like normal. Now, we have a proprietary fairing pin for this mechanism. As you're going to see, this is much narrower than the standard mil-spec, and we're going to get into why. The cam pin overall diameter is much smaller than the standard mil-spec, and there's a reason for that. With the M16 bolts, its biggest weak link is this location here where the cam pin slot is. This is where the bolts were known to break. So what Knights did was they took the idea of having more material on the sides here to strengthen that. They did that by lowering the diameter of the cam pin itself, so it left more material in there, so it was much stronger. Now the nice thing about this is they use a standard bolt carrier. You don't have to have any kind of a proprietary bolt carrier for this mechanism. Now we're going to take a look at the geometry of the locking lugs. When you notice the locking lugs, they're not squared off like the regular M16 AR-15 series. They're rounded off. What that rounded off does is it stress relieves, and it makes it that much more durable. They're a little bit larger as well, which also requires the rifle to have a proprietary barrel extension for it to lock into. This will not drop into a standard mil spec. But these locking lugs have been proven time and time again as being significantly stronger than anything else that's out there. Also, we're going to notice here that the base of the cartridge case is fully supported. The only two bolts that I know in the industry that do this are the LMT and this one. This gives a lot of durability when it comes to overpowered ammunition as well as over the beach conditions. So now the extractor. The extractor is a lot different than anything else that's out there. If you notice, we have dual springs. And we also have a little polymer buffer inside those springs as well. And where this really veers different from anything else that's on the market is the slot here for the cam pin hole, for the cam pin retaining pin. It's been moved basically into the middle, so it gives you more leverage, so you have an increased strength on the extraction. So in order to do that, they also have a locking mechanism. If you look at the extractor, you'll see you have a spring pin in here. That spring pin catches on a slot in the middle of the extractor pin. So by moving the location of the pivot pin forward, you're giving more leverage by use to heavy-duty springs. And that gives you a more durable extraction system. You have far more aggressive extractor groove on here as well that grabs on more of the cartridge case. So it has that similar lobster tail shape as the LMT does. It works very similar, but also has some differences as well. As similar as the LMT and the Knights look, they are truly different in a lot of ways. So that's what the E3 is. You have the enhanced bolt locking lugs, you have the enhanced extractor, and you have the enhanced cam pin slot on here, giving you an incredibly durable. It would be nice to see Knights offer this in a version that would work in a standard barrel extension. I think they could offer a lot of this stuff, with the exception of a lot of the geometry of the locking lugs is probably the only place they'd have to really cut on a commercial version. But I think there's a lot of call in the industry for another enhanced bolt out there that's a little bit different from the one that LMT puts out. Again, we have a mil-spec bolt carrier group. We have chromed inside the carrier as well as chrome inside the carrier key. We also have M4 feed ramps on both the barrel extension and the upper receiver. So getting a closer look at the optic we have on here, we have a Spectre. This is a 1 to 3 to 9. So basically it has 3 powers on it, but they're 1 to 3 to 9. The 1 power is basically for it to be a red dot. And then we have 3 power, which is a good combat scope. The nice thing about 3 power is when you pull it up to your shoulder, it's very easy to get a sight picture. Once you go to 9 for your longer ranges, it's not very quick to gain your sight picture. When you pull it up to your shoulder, you have to have more focus and you have to have more of a proper eye relief and so forth to get that sight picture. So that's better for your longer range. But the 1 power red dot close quarter battle, 3 power, regular combat range, 100 yards plus. but the 9 power is going to get you much further out there. Adjustments are made for elevation in the rear here. You have a locking gate on there. You rotate until you get it 0, then you lock it down, and then it's calibrated for the 5.56mm cartridge. And then you have your windage here. You can either use a cartridge case or any kind of a tool, coin or bullet tip to adjust it. So it has a lit reticle. Now it's probably about a pound or so the optic is, so it is large. Now this is an extremely expensive optic as well. It certainly goes on with this kind of a rifle. This would be an ideal combination, but again, you're probably looking at a $6,000 setup right here between the two of these. Now, for as far as specifications, we're looking at 6.55 pounds. Now, you're getting pretty much every type of enhancement you could possibly imagine, and then some, still in a really, really light pattern rifle. Overall length is, with the stock closed, you're looking at 33.5 inches, and with the stock extended, 36.5 inches. Now, the MSRP is $2,470. Now, is that expensive? Yes, but if you look at what you get on this rifle, this is a totally enhanced system. These are not just parts from any manufacturer thrown together. You're looking at parts that are all manufactured by Knight's Armament with the enhancements on them, all proprietary. So if you look at the overall cost of that, I think this is very, very reasonably priced. If you look at Knight's SR15s, they are outrageously expensive compared to everybody else's. This one, for as far as high-end rifles, this is not out of the ballpark. If you look at the cost of the LMT systems, you look at some of the Daniel Defense systems, and you look at some of the the other really high-end rifles, this is not too far out, and what you're getting for that cost is actually well worth it. I think all these benefits that are on here, I think it gives you that much more of a more durable and more reliable rifle. Now you can buy the upper receiver by itself. That is certainly available as well. Now, for as far as shootability is concerned, due to this having a 1 7" twist rifling profile, that you can use basically any ammunition in the industry, anywhere from 50 grains, probably right up to 85 grains. The ammunition I tested with this was the Remington UMC 223 Rem 55 grain full metal jacket, the SIG 223 Remington 77 grain OTM, and the Black Hills 55 grain full metal jacket. Now, we had a lab radar out there to see what the velocities were doing with this, and what we got here was for the Remington 55 grain full metal jacket, an average velocity of 2,970 feet per second. The SIG 77 grain OTM, 2,432 feet per second, and the Black Hills 55 grain full metal jacket, 2,940 feet per second. Now, this is a sub-MOA rifle. You can see the target we have here from the range, and you can see we are well under an inch. This rifle shoots consistently under an inch with factory match-grade ammunition. I think that if you wanted a longer range precision for varmint, this works excellent. If you wanted a competition rifle, this works excellent. This rifle will do literally anything you need it to do. Law enforcement, absolutely. You have the reliability enhancements that are second to none. You have an excellent barrel with the best of both worlds. It's called hammer forged, chrome plated. Plus, you have a perfected process for chrome plating that enables you to get match grade accuracy out of a chrome plated barrel, where you normally would have to get a stainless steel barrel. But I'm quite fond of this rifle. If you look at the earlier versions, there were several other ones that were put out. They were all very, very much like this. The E3, I think, was the most significant advancement the system had, and it's had that over other systems for many, many, many years. And like everybody else in the industry, they've got into these longer handguards. Personally, I don't care for longer handguards. I don't shoot my gun with that sword hold, Costa hold. I don't do that. I prefer more of the shorter handguards. But there are some benefits to having the longer handguards for as far as your system being protected, your gas system being protected. You do have a lot more real estate on there to place, optics, flashlights, lasers, vertical pistol grips, or night vision, or whatever you so choose. So, there's certainly some benefits to these longer handguards, but that's really up to your choice of what you like or not. The URX has come a long ways over the years. For the average owner, you're not going to be able to take this handguard off. This is going to require a gunsmith and a special tool to take off. So the average shooter is not going to be taking this thing apart. When you buy it, you're going to leave it like it is. And when it comes time to replace the barrel, you either send it back to Knights, or you have a gunsmith who has the training and the tools to take it apart. So it's not really user-friendly for disassembly, but you leave it alone. You do have the QD points on here as well. Dice has done a lot more to appease the commercial government over the last couple of years. They've lost some very significant government contracts, and the best way to make that up is to increase more into the civilian market, and they've done that. The SR25, for instance, there's a lot more commercial versions available with what people have been asking for. There's a lot more options, and same thing with the SR15. The SR15 and the SR25 really have matured together. They've gone through very similar changes between the two. The SR15, I think, was a harder market for Knights, early on, because early on it didn't really offer a lot over any conventional AR-15 other than the real precision accuracy. And most people are going to want the rifles for combat type accuracy. And the SR15 match original rifle, that wasn't what it was for. You're not going to want to put rapid rounds through a match grade barrel like that. You want it for precision. But as time went on, they've offered guns that were designed more of the assault rifle or more towards the competition or combat grade with the barrels. They've always used a good hammer forged barrel. Some of their rifles earlier on utilized Dimaco barrel blanks from Canada, which was made on their cold hammer forged machine, and they make some of the best cold hammer forged barrels in the market. I don't believe they're still using those. They may or may not. That'd be a question for Knights. But still, they're still using the cold hammer forged barrels on these SR15s. So I think what we're going to do now is take this to the range and we're going to see how it shoots. As we spoke earlier, the accuracy was sub-MOA, without question. The trigger is very, very nice on it. You have a very, very smooth recoil impulse. I do think that the new gas system, or what they refer to as the Mod 2 gas system, I do believe that makes a difference on the felt recoil. But again, reliability, I mean, it's what you would expect from a rifle like this. You do have a lot of other options as well from Knights Armament. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, even better share, and please consider donating on our Patreon.